Good morning, Science 10s. Today I'd like to talk to you about atomic theory. This is note guide number 2, and today we're going to start talking about ions. So far, we have just been talking about atoms. Atoms, of course, are neutral. They have the same number of protons as the number of electrons. And remember, we find the atomic number has the number of protons. That's positive particles in the nucleus. That's equal to the number of electrons. So these atoms have no charge, right? They're neutral. The positives and the negatives equal to one another. So today I want to start talking about ions. So to do that, there's a couple things we need to discuss. Number one is the octet rule. So atoms are always wanting to have 8 electrons in their valence energy level. These are the electrons in the outer energy level. And so this is what we call a full octet. So every atom is trying to be just like a noble gas, and noble gases have this full octet. Every element in the same family or the same group, the vertical, the up and down, the up and down columns on the periodic table. When you look at the last digit in the group number, that tells you the number of valence electrons, those electrons in the outer energy level. Okay, so now I'm going to just bring up for you guys, this is your Alchem atoms. And you are asked to fill out the energy levels. So this is basically the answer key, and I've gone and marked up and gone through a bunch of stuff on here. So you'll notice that in group 1, so here's our metals. We're on the left side. This is the staircase. On the left side of the staircase in group 1, everybody in group 1 has 1 electron in their outer energy level. Okay, hydrogen, 1 electron, lithium, 1 electron, sodium, 1 electron. Everybody here in group 2, beryllium, magnesium, they have 2 electrons in our outer energy level. And you can see as we go over, and we're in group, now it's the last digit. So group 13, we're jumping over to boron. Group 13, well, 3 electrons. Group 14, 4 electrons. Group 15, 5 electrons, and so forth. All the way here to our noble gases, 8 electrons, 8 electrons. Helium and hydrogen are different because they're in period 1. Remember, period 1 has only a maximum of 2 electrons in that outer energy level, and so therefore this is a full octet for helium because he only can have a maximum of 2 electrons. There's only 2 elements in this first period, and therefore only 2 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons in this period, and so a full octet would have 8 electrons. So you probably have filled out this, and you're looking and you're saying to yourself, okay, well, each group, now I understand each group, the last digit tells me the number of electrons in that outer energy level. The period number tells me the maximum number of energy levels. So everybody here in period 2 has 2 energy levels, 2 energy levels, 2 energy levels, 2 energy levels. So those are some trends that you might have picked up on. But now we're going to start talking about ions, and ions are always trying to make a full octet. So to do that, they're either going to have to gain or lose electrons, and in doing so, they end up with more positive or more negatives, and that creates the ion charge. So when we look at ions, they are electrically charged. They do not have equal numbers of protons and electrons. Either you're going to form a cation if you're a metal and you're on the left side of the staircase, or you're going to find that you're a non-metal, you're on the right side of the staircase, and you form an anion, a negatively charged ion. So here's my awesome diagram. I know you guys all can tell that this is a cat. This is how I remember it. Cats say meow, and this is a positive ion. Get it? Positive, right? Positive, the plus sign for positive. On the anion, the non-metal, the right side of the staircase, we have a negative ion, an ion. So the positive metals are now becoming cations because they're losing electrons. So sodium is a positive 1 charge. Why? Because it lost 1 electron. Calcium is a 2+. Why? Because it lost 2 electrons. On the other hand, when we look at our nonmetals, they're on the right side of the staircase. They have a negative charge. So chloride is a 1 negative ion. Why is that? Because it lost 1 electron. Why is oxygen a negative ion? It's O2 minus. Why? Sorry, because they're gaining electrons. My bad, that was an error. They gain electrons, not lose. Metals lose, nonmetals gain. So this guy gained 2 electrons. Okay, so if I had a 3 negative charge, it's because they gained 3. Okay, so 3 electrons gained would be a 3 negative charge. So like nitrogen becomes nitride. All these guys get a name change: chloride, oxide, nitride. Okay, and so the reason why metals lose and gain electrons is as follows. Everybody is trying to fill a complete octet. So now here is an example of my sodium atom. So of course this is a metal. It's going to lose electrons. So remember that it is in group 1, and this group number tells me the number of electrons in its valence, its outermost energy level. So here he's got this 1 electron in the outermost energy level. And when he goes from an atom to an ion, he's going to lose that electron. So now if you look at, he now has what we call a full octet. So he now has 8 electrons in his outer energy level, not a partially filled one with just 1 electron. Now let's count up the negative electrons. 8 and 2, that's 10 negative electrons. How many protons does he have in his nucleus? Well, he has 11. That is his atomic number. Now look and see, where are there more of? Are there more positives or more negatives? Well, we see there's 1 more positive, and that's why he has a 1 positive ion charge. He is a cation. On the other hand, when we're looking at our negatives, our anions, and we are looking at our nonmetals, they're gaining electrons. So here's sulfur. Sulfur is in group 16. And so this last digit, the number 6, is telling us the number of electrons in that outer valence energy level. We know that sulfur is in period 3, and that tells us how many energy levels. 1, 2, 3 energy levels. But it is these outermost valence electrons that are the most important. So sulfur has 16 electrons, 16 protons in the neutral atom. Here's the deal. He is going to gain 2 electrons so that he can form a complete octet. So 6 plus 2 more negatives is going to make 8 electrons. And now he will have 8 electrons in this outer energy level, and that gives him a full octet. All right, now let's count up our electrons. So we have 8 and 8, 16 and 2, that's 18 negative electrons and 16 positive protons in the nucleus. So what is more? Do I have more negatives or do I have more positives? I have more negatives, and I have more negatives. I have 2 more negatives. So that is why he is an S2 minus. He has 2 more negative electrons than a neutral atom. So we don't call him sulfur atom anymore. We now call him the sulfide ion. So you see now he gets a name change, the sulfide ion. So there's a name change, and their name is going to end in IDE. Okay, so I'm going to finish this video here, and then I'm going to come back and explain to you how to do the practice questions in this booklet. Okay, so we've now learned about atoms that are neutral, ions that have a charge, nonmetals lose electrons to make positive cations, and metals lose electrons to make a positive cation, and nonmetals gain electrons to form a negative anion. So if you have any questions, michelle.ladine@ghst75.ca. I'm going to come right back with one more video to watch with some instructions on how to finish up your notes guide. Until then, we'll see you in a bit.